ladies, and welcome to The Beauty Shaman, where truth and beauty meet. So I thought today I would go ahead and do one of the weddings I recently did on a woman who got remarried. And she was in like her mid-60s, and she's just the most awesome woman. Her name is Susan. And so I wanted to do the makeup I did on her because I thought it was so pretty, and she looked beautiful. She said she looked more beautiful than she'd ever looked in her whole life, which I think is, I'm not just saying, oh, I'm amazing. I'm saying like the dress and, I did her hair, she just looked really, really beautiful. So I know I just like patted myself on the back there, but it was inspiring. The whole thing was inspiring. So let's do a really pretty soft bridal makeup for we older women. So, all right. So before I do anything else, please visit my website at thebeautyshaman.com. Use the code SB10 for 10% off anything in my store. I also now have courses. I have Makeup 101 and I have advanced makeup. If you are going on front of a camera in any way, I recommend the advanced makeup. Do check those out on my website, and also be sure to subscribe down below, hit the bell, and you will be updated every time I upload a video. Okay, let's get started. Okay, so to start off with, when you're getting married, it's really important to drink a lot of water before the morning of the wedding, whatever, the day before, just because you want your skin to be really, really hydrated. So drink a lot of water. Be sure to eat foods with a lot of like olive oil or different oils, or take your omega-369 oils so that your skin has a nice glow to it. Otherwise, I think stress and all of that can sometimes make your skin look sort of dehydrated. So what I'm going to do is add some plumping to my skin, so that it really has a nice plumpy glow. I'm going to use my Truth treatments, which I absolutely love and sell on my website, my all-time favorite skincare. This is the C serum, and I'm going to do 2 drops. That's all it takes is 2 drops. This line is super duper potent. And then 2 drops of the Biomimetic Mist. Oh no, this isn't the mist. This is the Hyaluronic Mineral Hydrator. So this really plumps up your skin, the mineral hydrator. And then 2 pumps of the Biomimetic Mist, which helps the efficacy of the product, so it really gets underneath your skin. But I love using this. I use this on brides because their skin just like glows. It's so nice. This is called the Truth Trifecta, these 3. So what we're going to do is take this is a Jane Iredale foundation, Liquid Minerals, and this is actually Latte. Got a little bit of color because I've been outside. I like to run, so I go outside running quite a bit. And I'm going to blend that with the Smooth Affair primer from Jane Iredale as well. And what that's going to do is make it even more sheer. Now I'm going to use my hands to put this on, because this is really for you, right? This, if I was doing your makeup, I would use a brush, but for doing your own makeup, just be sure your hands are clean. So the Jane Iredale foundation, you have to blend it in a little bit because it has little capulets, little small balls, and it breaks, and you rub it in a little bit. If you just put it straight on your skin, you're going to hate it. You have to rub it in a little bit. Okay, so now I'm just going to rub it using my fingers. So this is very sheer, and I'm going to cover that a little bit more with some concealer. I think a big mistake a lot of you make is you go way too heavy on your foundation. The older you get, the sheerer everything needs to be, even on your wedding day. Now you can use this makeup for if you're a mother of a bride or mother of the groom. This is just a pretty soft kind of wedding makeup. Again, I put it all over my eyelids. Now if you have oily eyelids, then I wouldn't recommend this because it's going to crease your eyeshadow. But I don't have oily lids, so I go ahead and do that. Just rub it everywhere. And be sure to blend it down a little bit, because if you're out in the sun, this is going to be a little bit lighter than the rest of your face. So really. So I'm drinking tea. What tea are you drinking? Linda, what are you drinking? So this is, I actually have black tea. This is Earl Grey, and I have it black today. I didn't put any cream in it. I used to live in England. I love cream in my tea. So I'm going to take a sip. Have a sip of your tea. So I think that looks really, really pretty. But if you notice, I've got a little bit more red in my skin here. And that happens when you're out in the sun, right? You get a little bit more red. So I'm going to blend this together so it doesn't look masky. I often feel that that's what happens because we use sunblock on our face and then we put a foundation on that matches our neck, but it lacks the redness, right? So we're gonna play with this a little bit. All right, so I'm going to do a little concealer. I don't think I've used this very much on my channel. I use this in my professional kit. This is called Amazing Concealer. I really like this, by the way. I totally endorse this product. I think it's a great product. I'll put a link down below. I don't sell it, but I will send a link, give you a link that you can buy it if you want to. This is medium golden. It's great. I tend to really run through it quickly because I like it so much, especially on men, because it just doesn't show up at all. But it's great on women. It's great on anybody. So I'm going to put a little on my hand. That's way too much, actually. And I'm going to use my ring finger just to show you how to apply it. See, like it's super dense. You don't need near what I put on there. Whoops. All right, so I'm going to take this and I'm going to tap it inside, just like that. And then I'm going to tap my finger in. Like, see, that's just way too much. I'm going overboard. So we're going to just blend this in and tap. Tap and roll your finger so that you brighten up right in there. All of you, for the most part, get really dark right inside. Now, we're also not going to take this right underneath your eye. We're going to go more in that sort of indented part right here. Nice. And then I put a little bit around my nose and bring it up. But look at what that did. Isn't that nice? I put it on my eyelid because, like I said, I don't have oily lids. If you have oily lids, keep it off your eyelid. But isn't that pretty? Isn't that nice? I'll put a little right there since I have too much. But see how I'm tapping? I'm not rubbing. Tap, 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 tap. And then tap the edges in. If you have a Beauty Blender sponge, throw it away. If you're over the age of like 45, do not touch those things. They're really, they put too much on your skin. I don't like them. Just use your hands. You're better off. So really good. It really took out any discoloration. Like, love this concealer. Okay. But you need like such a tiny amount. I really wasted a bunch then. All right. So now I'm going to do, I want to talk about two things before I kind of move on. One is if you get really shiny, when you, like if it's hot out and you end up sweating, if you're a sweater, I would say get yourself something like this. This is a Jane Iredale product called Absence, and it's really good to matte your skin out. So you put this under your makeup and you use it. I'll show you how to use it. You can use it with your finger because I get a little shiny right here. I'm going to put it on top of my foundation. You can put it on top or under, and it just takes the oil out and keeps your skin matte. Now we're going to powder that, and that's going to hopefully, we'll watch and see how it does for the rest of the time. I've not played with this too much, but I do think it's a really good product if you have oily skin and you want to keep things matte throughout the day. The other thing I would say is be sure to use, if you have oily lids, use an eye base. So, and that's just, there's a lot of different companies that make eye bases. I'll put a link down below. Mine's really mucky, I'm sorry. But you can take this and just put it over your lid. I will put a little bit just to show you. And you just put it where you get oily. You don't need to put it like, all the way up to your eyebrow or anything. And that'll keep your eyeshadow from creasing up too much. Now, if you don't have oily lids, don't worry about it. So I'm going to use a little Christian Dior powder here. And I've got some really fun disco brushes here. I think these are kind of fun. These are by Moda. I have a link down below. They're not expensive and they're fun, right? They're like some bright, I call them my disco brushes. So I'm just going to lightly dust these. You want to get a really translucent powder. You don't want to have, if you get too thick of a powder, it's going to sit on the surface of your skin and you're going to be able to see it. So we're going for a really sheer translucent look. So that's why I say that. So that's a nice Christian Dior. This is a really nice powder. It has a little bit of pink in it, this one, which I kind of like. I like a little, like you can tell, it's a little bit rosy. I kind of like that, but that's my thing. Okay, so let's go on to some highlighter. So this is Touche Éclat. This is by Yves Saint Laurent. This is my favorite highlighter. It's a little pricey. I think it's like $38. But I'm telling you, this is like the best highlighter. They have all different colors for all different skin tones, whatever skin tone you are. And you just take that, and we're going to use it in places that I really want to highlight. So I'm going to put it up here and tap that in. I'm also going to put it, if you have any darkness that you really are, want to help cover, I would put a little bit of this right there. Keep it off any puffiness, you know, because we tend to be, I do. If you're not puffy there, I wouldn't worry about it. But many of us are. I'm also going to take this and put a little right there. And one of the reasons for that is because what I've noticed is we've lightened up around our eyes, but our nose is still the same color as the rest of our face. So if we put a line down the middle, it's going to break it up a bit. Little trick. And look there. Just kind of highlights. That's just a nice highlight, you know, in your T-zone, basically. Cool, right? And always do your powder before you do your highlight. Otherwise, it kind of nullifies the highlight a little bit. All right, so let's do eyebrows. So I color my eyebrows along with my hair. For those of you who have let your hair go silver, God bless you, that's fantastic. I'm not quite there yet. I'm still coloring my hair. So I color my eyebrows as well, so I keep them a nice dark color. There will come a day where I won't do this, and you can all say, yay, she finally had the courage to do it. But what I'm gonna do is show you how to lengthen your eyebrows a little bit. So I'm just gonna lengthen them so it goes corner of your nose, corner of your eye. I wanna lengthen it to about there. With the eyeshadow. I'm just doing a matching eyeshadow. And you can do a pencil if you want. Whatever you're more comfortable with. And I'm also taking that upper line up a little bit. I've got fairly dense eyebrows, so. But I'm not going to fill it in here, even though you can tell I've got some holes. Because I want all the attention to be out there. I don't want those big square, like if you really fill it in, it's too much, it's too dense. In fact, I almost think that's a little bit. I'm just going to really take that down. Okay, good. So let's move on to a little bit of contour. Now, if you have a really thin face, I don't recommend doing a lot of contour. It can make your face look even more thin. So I would say we're going to do like a kind of a warm contour color at this point, because I think my face is a little on the thin side. I mean, you know, as you get older, this is kind of what happens. So I'm going to use just this color, which is sort of a peachy tone. And then I'm going to put this, I can't talk. By the way, do you have weddings this summer that you're going to? I'm just really curious how many of you are in a wedding or going to a wedding. I think they're all broken into really small groups. So I'd be very curious to hear your experience with that and if you're involved in one. I know people are having weddings in their backyards, unable to rent facilities and that sort of thing. So really weird time. So I'd be very curious to hear from that. All right, so we're going to use this color and I'm going to use my contour brush. And I'm going to go just a little bit underneath. And it's just kind of going to warm up my complexion a little bit. And then I'm going to bring it down here, brush it along my jaw line. And be careful you blend. I think the biggest mistake I see with any contour is that it's not blended. And then you can really see that line. And it just takes a little bit of practice just to kind of not go like this, right? You don't want it to go too far in too, because that's going to make you look more gaunt. So you just want to put a little bit. If you have a high forehead like I do, you just sort of brush it along the top. Unless you have a small forehead, then I wouldn't do this. But I bring it down a little bit because I got a pretty good forehead there. And, you know, if your high points are here, like on me, put a little there. And it just really warms up your whole face. Depending on if you're using a contour that actually is more of a brown, like this is kind of a peachy color, then be careful. Don't watch out how much you use on that, because otherwise it'll look like dirt, which wouldn't be good. A sip of tea. All right, so let's do a little bit of blush. I'm going to do just kind of a pinky blush here, because we're going to do, you know, it's wedding makeup. So I'm going to do right on my cheek. Just on my cheek and a little on my eye. Now, you can do makeup in whatever order suits you. I change the order up a lot. I know that's hard to follow me sometimes because I'm an artist, so I'm always finding new ways. But what I want to do here is I want to get everything to look kind of warm and together, right? So I kind of go at things, like I'll do blush, I'll do eyes, I'll go back and do blush. Like I kind of just peck away at it, right? So that's just something to know when you're doing your makeup. Okay, one thing I've noticed here is that this is still a little bit more red than my skin. So I'm actually going to take a little bit of more of a bronzer than a contour. And I'm going to use this color right here and pull it out. So see that lovely bronzy color? So this is called Texture by MAC. And I'm going to use my same contour brush. And I'm going to add a little bit just because I want to pull. See how much better that is? It kind of matches a little bit better. And I don't look masky. It's important not to look like you have a mask on. There. So for eyes today, I'm going to do a really pretty glamorous kind of eye. And I'm going to use this palette by Chanel. I'm only going to use this palette just to make it as simple as possible. And this is called Raffinement. That's literally what it is. Raffinement. Number 39. I'll put it down below. Anyway, but it looks like this. And it's lovely. Isn't that pretty? All plummy colors. I don't use this enough. I need to use this more. It's super gorgeous. All right, so I'm going to start with this color right here. And I'm going to do that right on my eyelid. Now these all have a little bit of an iridescence to them. Isn't that pretty? Just kind of on my inner eye. It's nice. Okay, then I'm going to use this color right here. And I'm going to use it just kind of in the outer crease. In the crease and the outer edge. Isn't that pretty? I mean, I love Chanel. They're just so classy, you know? But look at how pretty that is. It's just soft and gorgeous. Oh, be sure if your eyelids droop a little bit right here, just darken it right in the middle. And it'll give you a nice lift. Like, look how much that lifted my eye. Look at the difference. Isn't that cool? Oops, awesome. Isn't that pretty? Just so soft and lovely. All right, now I'm going to use this color up here. Oops, sorry. Yeah, that color. We're going to put that underneath. Now, not all the way underneath. Just gonna kind of. I think you gotta watch out. I mean, I've seen a lot of you with too much underneath, and it can pull your face down. But I realize it's difficult to put liner on top, so we're gonna cover that in this. It's just how to do the liner on top in a way that's really easy and flattering. So I'm just putting it kind of between my lashes underneath, very, very softly. So that's pretty. So it just kind of frames my face using the plums. Okay, so liner on top, we're gonna use, this is a Fenty. I'm experimenting with Fenty a little bit. This is Fenty. It is like a plum. I don't know what the color is. I'm gonna have to put that down below. I don't know what it is. I can't read it. I need to put my glasses on, and they're over there. So, all right, so this is a really, really pretty plum. So I'm gonna do it in my waterline. I love the waterline. I totally recommend, if you can manage this, to do it. So I'm gonna put it, it's underneath your lashes. Look at the difference that made. It just pops your eye, but it doesn't add a whole lot, which I love. If you notice, I go all the way down to the corner and all the way down to the end. You don't skimp. And if you really accentuate the line, look how much it really brings out just the shape of your eye. Okay, so now we're going to use the exact same thing, and we're going to bring it up a little bit from the waterline, which you saw how I did that under. Now I'm going to go between my lashes on top. So you're just moving it up a bit. And we're really just working that between your lashes. See how I'm coming from underneath and really working that to get that dense line. Okay, now I've created quite a line there. So I'm going to run back over it with the slanted brush. Again, one of my disco brushes from Moda. And I'm going to just run it right over the top. And what that does is it softens down that line so that it's not so thick. Although I made the outer edge pretty thick there, and I wanted that. See, that really softened it down. I want to soften it down even more. See, there we go. Now it's softer. That's one of the big mistakes I also see a lot of you make. So is to really soften that line down so you don't get like a really, you know, kind of harsh line. We want all our lines to be soft, right? Like as we get older, we get a little softer. All right, so let me do the other eye. So I love that. I really feel like it's highlighting my eye. It looks beautiful. So now we're going to move into this darker color here. Okay. And we're going to use this on the outer edge just to make it open up even more, just to really, but we're going to use it very softly, okay? Because we don't want to look overdone. So I'm going to start in that outer edge, and all I'm going to do is do like a V, a little outward V. And just blend it in just to that outer corner. If you have small lids, this is a great technique to open up your eye. So look, okay, I gotta blend it in, but you can see how that works. And one of the challenges I see, I gave a lesson to a woman the other day. I do lessons over Zoom, by the way. And she was going like this, like we're just so used to kind of going, rah. So it's like you have to kind of discipline yourself to just stick with that outer edge. You know, and pull it in. If you notice, I just kind of pull it in. So I really make that outer edge the most dense part. Isn't that pretty? See, really opens up the eye. So I think that looks really pretty and soft. And by the way, I used a crease brush for that because it has that nice soft edge and you can really work with the outer corners on that kind of thing. So I love this. I think this is just so fabulous. Definitely, if you don't have one of these, get one. I don't know what brand this is. Sorry, I think it's rubbed off here. It doesn't say the brand, but a lot of brands carry this. I'll put a link down below. I'm going to put a little bit of that really dark color that I just put in the outer edge. I'm going to put a little on my outer corners just to pop that a little bit. There. I think that looks really pretty. Okay, let's do lips and then we'll go on to false lashes. So, woo! So I might even like change my blush a little bit. So we'll see. So I'm going to do a really soft pinky lipstick on my lips. I'll put the color down below because it's in my kit here, which is very mucky. I want to do something kind of just light and pretty because my eyes are very dramatic. So we want to keep my lips not way up there. We're going to do just a pretty soft lipstick. Isn't that pretty? And I'm doing lipstick first and then lip liner. If you want to keep your lipstick on all day for a wedding, do foundation on your lips, then powder, then lipstick, then powder, then lipstick and lip liner, and it'll stay on. Okay, so I'm going to use just kind of a matching, little bit darker lip liner. And I'm going to start in this little corner here. So you start in your bow. Go underneath. And then connect it. The reason why I do liner second, I can talk and do this at the same time. It's kind of cool. It's because it's much softer O-line, which is what I'm going for. That's super pretty, right? Just soft and pale. You can also do a little bit of lip gloss on top. So I'm going to do, this is a nice soft pink lip gloss by Viseart. Stuff kind of smells like bubblegum. I love Viseart. So I'm also going to change my blush just a tiny bit. I'm going to add a little bit of a lighter pink. So I think I'm going to pop this color right here. This is a matte color. Right, just a little bit on top. Just to add a little pop. Make it pull together. That looks nice. Cool. And I think that oil control stuff has held up pretty well. I'm a little tiny bit shiny there, but not bad. Not like normal. Normally I'm really glowy right there. So nice. Okay, let's do false lashes. So I'm going to use my favorite, which is Lash and Crown. Totally love this line. They're vegan. They have 25 uses. They're real hair, of course. They cost $25, so it's $1 a use. I think they're on sale now, so you might want to check them out if you're interested in false lashes. I think they're on sale for $15. Okay, so I've got my false lashes on and I'm feeling very glamorous right now and very pink. But I'm gonna put a little bit of, this is a really worn off Laura Mercier powder highlighter. So this really depends on you, because I think if we have a, you know, obviously as we get older, we get lines and wrinkles. And if we put iridescent things on it, sometimes it can really show your lines more. And we don't want that, right? Having said that, if you get one of these, it's a fan brush. And these are really cool because they put a very, very small amount on there. And what you do is you sort of run it across. And then you can kind of just dust it where you want it. As opposed to it being a really heavy, you know, I think if you see some, if you ever watch Instagram videos or, I mean, I watch everybody, so not everybody, but a lot of people. And they can really overdo the highlight and the gloss. But you know, you can put it on your collarbone, which is super pretty when you get married. You can do it down your arms. You can just be like glitter girl, but I think I want to do just a very small amount. So you can tell, I just very lightly put it on certain spots. And with the fan brush, it helps it not to be quite so much. So anyway, I do recommend getting one of these. They're not expensive. Mine's falling apart. So this is my bridal makeup. I think I tried to make this simple, but at the same time be glamorous and be appropriate for a fancy situation. So I hope this is helpful. Please write your questions down below. I really, really love to hear from all of you. I really want to make videos that really resonate with you, that help you. If you're getting married, congratulations. I hope you like this look and can replicate this look. All the links are down below. Thank you for watching. And please don't forget to visit my website at thebeautyshaman.com. Have an awesome day and enjoy your wedding.